Today we have another group from Breakheart Media Center, and these guys are quite interesting. We have Rob, Fred, and Bernard, and they do sports show at Brick. We're gonna find out why there are three of them, not four, not two, like why, how to work as a team, and we're gonna find out how to make a successful sports show. What's the key ingredients? You want to take it away?
Well, I think because we know each other so well, we knew each other since we were about 6 years old. I feel like we feed off that dynamic
so
with each
you
other.
grow up together. That's
Yes.
why
Right.
you trust each other. So it's not like a knowledge based. It's like trust based.
Right.
Exactly, and we kind of know each other's takes. We have different viewpoints based on sports, different teams we follow, and we basically know where the other person's heading. But then at the same time, someone will throw like a wrinkle, and then it's just like a huge surprise. Oh, you thought like that? And I feel like that works because we know each other so well.
So that's why it's not four, not two. It's just you've been friends as three of
Right.
you together, and
It's
that's
it's more of a trusting, like you said. Like I trust
reliability
to be
factor.
able to reliability factor, be able to work with them, and then just knowing that.
comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly,
Be
exactly.
comfortable with each other. That's why it's so. To introduce a new person to the group, let's say you want like a female audience, and you bring like a beautiful model who does sports, which possible. Like,
That's what I'm
if it
talking
does-
about.
you bring. Is it possible to introduce someone to the team, or it's like if let's say you have fights, like everybody, like family have fights,
Yeah.
friends, like do you lose someone on the crew? Like how does it work in the dynamics?
I mean, introducing a new person wouldn't really be like an issue because I feel like all three of us we're pretty much flexible in that we're able to work with anybody. We're all like people based on the people's people. Yeah.
Okay.
we all the people's champs. So
Yeah.
I think we all will be able to introduce a new person to the group. And you said like as far as fights, like I feel like we basically brothers, but not even if we're not blood, we brothers. Like we argue
I
all
have
the time.
family, but I have two brothers. But I can tell you, we have some arguments.
Like it's
every
been
family.
cases on the show where things got really heated on the set, but it's
how
like
do you resolve this? How it's like you move on after?
right, yeah.
With the show, we had like me and him.
Yeah,
we go back and forth a lot, and you know, a few times it would be what people consider out of hand, but because of like how close we are, it's able to be like, all right, this is where it stops. You know, like it's your opinion, my opinion. Sometimes we just agree to disagree. Sometimes we can persuade one another. It never goes further than the show. Like it's an argument based on points of view. And
Do you have? Is the audience favor one particular of you more than someone else? Like, do you feel the feedback like that?
I wouldn't think so because it's like the show is kind of built off of our interactions with one another. So it's kind of like I would say he's like the stats guy. Like he's good with the numbers. He's good with, and he's like the lead. He brings everything.
Everybody have the different
like
their
the expertise,
I
and
see.
it's just kind of
And
like
it's together. It's like
it comes
one-
together.
It all
to
comes
make
together
a
to make
dynamic. Yeah.
a great product.
What's so special about making a show about sports?
Well,
Sports itself, because there's millions of shows out there with sports, so I don't think just the sports aspect is special. It's the fact that we treat the show as a conversation where we have different viewpoints, where someone else, like you said, if we can bring on someone else, they can easily just fit in the table because they have their own perspective. So we want people to have their own perspective and treat it like a conversation, not just, a sports highlight show where they just tell you
Right.
what happened the night before. We want different
But
debates.
usually, sport we have agenda.
Yes.
When we have particular show, we want to promote particular fighter or particular group, and there are special interests behind the show, right?
Right.
There are sponsors, there are like advertisers, there are like different parts to it. Like how that dynamic is considered. Like, is there like a behind the scene, like you planning? Okay, this is what we're gonna talk about most of the time, and that
Yeah.
would be just mentioned briefly, like how that.
I think it goes based on even though we're reporting on the news of sports, we kind of like do the spirit aspect of sports, like what people are thinking or what people want to hear about. Like it's less about the stats and more about the conversation with us.
Okay. What about the corporate stuff? You talk about sport teams. Every time you mention a private company, private name, is there any particular legal issues that people should be aware when they do a show like that?
Well, it's huge with the NFL. You can't really show highlights because that's the thing. But because they're publicly corporate, you can't show their highlights, but you can talk about them. You can talk about them without say having any rights towards their
So
broadcast.
you don't show the images or video. You can, but you can express opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, just for the NFL. I don't know.
Just
the
NFL is
then
strictly like that.
they're strict, yes.
Okay, but the other ones are not as
They're a little more lax.
lenient.
You can't show full games, but you can show a few highlights here and there.
Okay.
And of course, we have other YouTube personalities where we find something nice on YouTube where it has to do with sports. Someone does like a trick shot or something like that. We tend to show those and give our reactions on it as well.
Okay. What do you think gets you the most ratings in sports?
I think it's the
Jokes?
I think
He has a good segment.
It's, yeah, it's. I think it's the comedic part of it because we do a segment of a show called Are You Dead Ass, and then it's basically like the comedy part. Like we show the funniest clips in sports and be like, Are you serious? Like is that like somebody does a really bad shot? It's like, yo, come on, bro. Like,
What is the percentage of those shots being properly staged to get those views, and what are the percentage of actual ones, the one that actually take place?
We find them all. Like we don't. None of them are.
But none of them are staged?
Nah, they're just like throughout the
People
game.
want some views. People
Yeah.
do funny stuff just
But
to get.
it's
to
like
get
more
the-
so we find them throughout the games and the actual events going on. And like say in basketball, you make a terrible pass, and it's just like, where did that
It's
come
been
from?
known in the history that two teams come together and decide, you win this time, we win this time, and we're gonna make like a funny moment here, and we're gonna
Right.
make an interesting moment here, so we get
so-
some use. Can you determine when it's been pre-staged and or if it's a real game?
I haven't been able to say.
No, I haven't.
Sometimes it seems like you did it just for.
Like
Like,
in,
yeah, some-
yeah.
in
them
wrestling, you can tell.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is a
Okay.
sport, by the way. I consider that a sport, by the way.
Okay,
Wrestling, yeah.
but you can still tell that this guy's kind of figured
Yeah,
out who's the villain, who is the
'cause-
hero.
Yeah.
But in the sports, it's much more difficult.
Yeah, because like in wrestling, like it was a match a couple months ago between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, and it was like I paid a lot of money to watch the pay per view, but to me it was like, yo, the match is over in like 2 minutes, and like Goldberg is a really old wrestler, and Brock Lesnar is in like the best shape of his life, and Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar in like 36 seconds, and it was like.
So you thought it's
It's like it was clear it was staged. It was clear it was staged.
They won the number of the longer people watch, the more
Right, and that's what it was
making
about.
so,
It's a
so
good
short.
story.
It was about the views, yeah.
About the story.
It was about the storyline as opposed to the views.
Shrink the story so they get more attention rather than the
Exactly.
number of, so this, I see,
Oh, yeah.
and you can tell. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, what's your social media? What's your hashtag for the Instagram or
The name of the show is Unnecessary Roughness. You can follow us on Twitter at 3T Sports, 3TSPORTZ.
Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully we'll do a couple more of those interviews, and people will follow you guys at the Brick and other markets.
Appreciate it,
Alright.
man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.